Yeah, so them all the things, you know, that we fighting up against. Them are just some of the spirits from the spirit side. Now, we need to go find out some more of these principalities. What these principalities, what these spirits that we fighting up against, where they dwelling at. We need to find out where they dwelling at in this world, so we can know exactly where they at and how we fighting and who we fighting. Principalities. We're going to go to the second one, which is going to be leadership. 739. Because we fighting against leadership in these principalities. We fighting against principalities within the leadership in this country that we living in this world that we living in. So, first one is going to be principalities, which is 739.7. We fighting against dominancy. We fighting against domain. We fighting against supremacy. We fighting against superiority. We fighting against a sovereignty. We fighting against overlordship. We fighting against primacy. We fighting against mastership. We fighting against hardship. We fighting against lordship. We fighting against royalty. We fighting against kinghood. We fighting against scepters. We fighting against crooks. We fighting against chains of office. We fighting against bishops. We fighting against patriarchs. We fighting against founding fathers. We fighting against presidentship. We fighting against chiefs. We fighting against supervisorships. We fighting against dictatorships. We fighting against leaderships. We fighting against imperialism. We fighting against oppressiveness. We fighting against suppressiveness. We fighting against grinding. We fighting against lawlessness. We fighting against irresponsibility. We fighting against disorderliness. We fighting against turmoil. We fighting against chaos. We fighting against law of the jungle. We fighting against wildcats. We fighting against uncontrolled. We fighting against insubordinates. We fighting against unrestraint. We fighting against unacceptability. We fighting against confusion. We fighting against Hellenism. We fighting against ungovernment. You see? So we fighting against all these different principalities. And that's just to name a few of the principalities that we fighting up against. But we're going to continue to dig in of these things that we wrestling against. Because we think we wrestling against flesh and blood. But as you can see right now, we unfolding these mysteries of principalities. What we fighting up against. And you thinking it's just human beings. But it's a system that's purposely set up and designed to keep you fighting against and going through all these things. All these governments and these principalities and these authorities and this sovereignty. What sovereignty? We're fighting against America's sovereignty. We got to follow their law. We got to pledge our allegiance over here. They don't want to follow Yahweh's laws. Remember, they want to follow the prince of darkness, which says democracy, not theocracy. Remember, Lucifer was against Yahweh's rule from the beginning. Yes, he was. He was against Yahweh's rule since day one. He wanted to do his own thing. He didn't want theocracy. He wanted democracy. Let's stop right there. Let's look up those two words real quick. Because one of them belongs to Yahweh and the other one belongs to Lucifer. You get it? Democracy. The word demon is inside of that. Or theocracy. Theo. Let's look up the word theocracy. Because Lucifer don't want theocracy. He wants democracy. And that's why we in the trouble we in today. Because democracy don't work. It hasn't been working. Every civilization that's been on the face of the earth that practiced democracy failed. Every government that was established on this earth besides Yahweh's government will fail. And that's what the lesson behind all this, that's what the lesson of mankind gonna be. You want democracy and you want to reject my theocracy, the rule and the law, the kingdom of Yahweh, which shall never be destroyed. Y'all want to reject that? Let's look up theocracy. Theocracy. Like I said, we just, taking a look at a few things. Yahweh, let Yahweh have his way. Theocracy. Wherever Yahweh want to take us, theocracy. Theocracy. Theocracy is a form of government in which God, Yahweh, or a deity is recognized as the supreme civil ruler. His laws being interpreted by the ecclesiastical authorities. A system of government by priests claiming a divine commission. A commonwealth or state under such a form of system of government. Theocracy. See? Yahweh, theocracy. Y'all want democracy or theocracy? Because theocracy is the rule and the government of Yahweh and his priests. We're supposed to be a royal, and Peter said we're supposed to be a royal priesthood. A chosen generation. That's what the theocratic government is all about. That's what theocracy is all about. Yahweh government. They're based on his laws. They're based on his church. He said he was sending his son back to get his church. Who was his church? Israel. Judah. He coming back to get them. Why? So they can be set up like ecclesiastical authorities. A system of government by priests claiming a divine commission. What's the commission? What we claiming? Yahweh government. Stop breaking Yahweh laws. Keep his commandments. Teaching y'all the clean and the unclean things. Judging righteously. That's the type of government Yahweh won't set up. His law. His rule. His reign. See? But remember when we first started out, we was talking about those principalities. And it was ruled by a prince over a state, over an empire. See, that's Lucifer want his kingdom. And Yahweh want his kingdom. Lucifer and his angels been ruling all the way up until now. But now we come to establish Yahweh's theocratic kingdom. And Yahweh was a sign to the world that you don't have time. The kingdom of Yahweh is at hand. That was the message. So we see that let's drop down and look at the theocrat. Come from the word theocracy. Theocrat is a person who rules, governs as a representative of Yahweh, a deity, or as a member of the ruling group in a theocracy, as a divine king or a high priest, a person who favors theocracy. I favor theocracy. I'm tired of democracy. Democracy got us what we got today. Hell, homosexuality, abortion clinics, drugs all in the neighborhood, corruption in the neighborhood, crooks, unbelievers, choosing the religion you want to choose. That's the point where we came up into this day. Choosing the religion you want to choose, just don't choose theocracy. That's what Satan offering you continually, daily. Here, you can have whatever you want to do, just don't do this theocracy over here. You can have my democracy. And they go around the world trying to enforce it on people. If you ain't with us, we're going to plant bombs on you. We're going to come in and take your whole country over. See, that's what we did. Them the principalities we're dealing up against. They about to set decrees to tell you can't speak how Yahweh wants you to speak. Because they know we coming to set up this theocratic government. They know Yahweh ben Yahweh was the sign. And they know we was right behind it to come in the resurrection, to come doing the same thing. Preaching the kingdom of Yahweh, which is heaven. So let's go look at democracy. We took a look at theocracy, which is the rule of Yahweh and his priests, setting up his government the way he wanted ran, according to his law, statutes, judgments, and commandments. So now we're going to take a look at democracy, because that's what Satan going around the world trying to impose on people. His democracy, his democratic government. You see what I'm saying? His democratic government. Democracy. Democracy. The government by the people. That's where your problem at right there. Is these people of Yahweh? No. The government by the people. A form of government in which the supreme power is vested in the peoples and exercised by them or by their elected agents under a free electoral system. See? Y'all want to put y'all trust in all these politicians. That's ungodly. That's with the Democratic Party. You see what I'm saying? That's who you want to run for. Elected agents under a free electoral system. You want to go cast your votes on people that don't have no knowledge of the God of Israel. They're heathens. They part of the principalities. They train to be part of the principalities. They set up there freely. These are the people we put in office that make these principalities so great. We're gonna continue to discover these principalities. It say, a state having such a form of government, people in exercise directly by them rather than by elected representatives. A state of society characterized by formal equality of rights and privileges. Stop right there. See, formal rights and privileges. They're gonna give you the right. They're gonna give you the right. They're gonna set up rights where you can choose to break Yahweh's laws. They're gonna set up a system so you can have these free rights, like to be gay if you want to. To call on any God name you want to the build in the church. You see, they set up these things like this intentionally. The common people of a community as distinguished from any privileged class. The common people with respect to their political power. The principles of the Democratic Party. There you go right there. See? Government ruled by the people instead of by Yahweh. Instead of up under Yahweh's authority. The people can rule, but are they gonna rule how Yahweh tell them to rule? No. That ain't the case in this day and time. These politicians getting up